Hello everyone, and welcome back to Optimize FPL. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Game Week 31 wildcard and looking at the fixtures for the future. Let's get into it. So this lovely spreadsheet was made by Fast Arpeggi. It outlines what the double game weeks are going to look like. We obviously know from 1 to 33, but from 34 onwards, it's pretty unknown. This is what his best guess is, and this is the list I'm going to be using to justify the drafts I'm going to be making for this game week wildcard. So we're just going to go from top to bottom looking at teams that I think are people we should be looking at for the long term. Arsenal team, definitely players we should be looking at, especially defense. I think these are great fixtures to the end of the season. I think that they got lots of nice doubles when they have hard fixtures like Chelsea away and Tottenham away. Those are hard fixtures, but they also have doubles with those. 34 could be a little bit difficult, but you can always just bench them for other players. Overall, Arsenal team that I'd be targeting. Another team I'd be targeting is probably Burnley, depending on if you're going to free hit or not. If you're going to free hit, then maybe not as important, but from 31 to 34, they have great fixtures with the double game weeks, and then from 35 and 6, they have good fixtures. The only time you have to bench them was probably be 37, but other than that, they have great fixtures at the end of the season. Chelsea is an easy one. They got amazing fixtures at the end of the season. They double in 36 and 37, so it'd be a very good end to the season if you start getting them in towards 35 or 34. The other team I'd like to look at is Tottenham. They have really good fixtures, and the only time they have really bad fixtures are when they double in 36, so it's nice to have them double at least. Liverpool's an easy one. They're always great players to have, and they double in 36, which is great. And if you're going to free hit in 33, then it's also great because you can just take them out for Manchester United. So with this prediction table, there's lots to consider. It's not 100% accurate. Obviously, we only know from 31 to 33, but the 4 drafts that I've built for this game week is it really depends on your chips. That's why I've built 4 different ones. I have a just wildcard chip that I'm going to be doing first. After that, it's going to be wildcard and bench boost. So if you're looking to bench boost and you have a wildcard, would I use it this week, and what the team would look like? Wildcard and free hit. So I assume you're going to probably be free hitting game week 33. So that's your wildcarding to basically attack game week 36. And then wildcard, free hit, and bench boost. So you're going to wildcard this week, free hit in 33, and then bench boost in 36. We'll go into the teams right now. Okay, so this is for the just wildcard chip. There are a couple rules I made for these teams. The main one being price. The price had to be at least or at the maximum 104.5. I know not everybody has the same amount of money, but that's what I'm going with because that's a rough estimate of what I have, and I think that most people have somewhere around that area. Obviously, players can be downgraded very easily, so keep that in mind when you're looking. Starting off with this team, this would be the Game Week 31 team. Pope and Net and Foster, they actually rotate quite well. Burnley and Watford, obviously, you'd have 2 very weak defenses, obviously, in the bottom half of the table, but they are still good keepers. I think overall they get save points and they have doubles to play, so they'll probably get about 6 to 5 points a week, which is about the same as if a player got a clean sheet. So you take the good with the bad. A couple of standout players for every team that are going to be in almost every single team are Trent, Rudiger, Cancelo, Salah, and Kane. I think those 4 and Barnes. Sorry, those 6 players are going to be in every single draft I made because I think they're so imperative to the end of the season if you're wildcarding this week. And that is what the assumption is for this video, is if you're wildcarding this week, these are the teams that I think would be good. So this game week, you get to attack with 3 double game weekers, which I think is really good. And since you're not going to be able to free hit at all, you have lots of teams with lots of extra games to play. Arsenal have extra 2 games, so you have Saka and Tierney. You have Rudiger. They have an extra 2 games. Cancelo, he has an extra game. Trent and Salah also have extra games. Kulusevski, Kane have extra games. Barnes has, I think, like 4 extra games. Same with Gordon. Weghorst and Pope also have lots of extra games, especially if you're not free hitting in 33. You're going to need them. Livermento and Dennis also have extra games, just in different game weeks. So if we look to game week 33, quickly looking, this is what the team would look for game week 32. Nothing too crazy. You'd be benching Cancelo. You'd be playing both Liverpool players. You could always put Cancelo on instead of Trent if you think that they're better. Those are pretty interchangeable, but the rest of the team is pretty set in stone, I think. And if we look at game week 33, This is what the team will look like. Very decent team overall. You'd have 7 double game weekers this week, and you'd have some great players in there. You'd probably still captain Salah. I don't know who you'd potentially captain instead. Maybe Madison or Barnes, but you're taking a huge risk on Leicester there. But this is the team that I would pick personally if I was going to be making a wild card with no chips left. It gives you lots of double game weeks, really takes advantage of players who have lots of extra games to rearrange, and a lot of the players are just really good. Okay, so this is the draft for game week 31 if you have a wild card and only a bench boost left. This team costs 104.3. I think it's a very decent team. Obviously, there's lots of places that you can still downgrade if you need to. Like players on the bench. So this team really takes advantage of game week 36. If we look to game week 36, it's kind of hard to actually tell how well it takes advantage of it. I think the only player that's going to have a single game week that week would be King, but he does play Crystal Palace away. I think every single other player is supposed to have a double game week. Yeah, from the transfer planner, that's what it looks like it says. So yeah, so every single player would have a double game week. So if you're bench boosting, this is perfect. All your players play. All your players are playing double game weeks, which makes it very advantageous. And you can still attack other game weeks, like game week 33 is still going to have very decent, a very decent playing squad. You'd have King on the bench against Brentford. Unfortunately, you'd have 2 playing goalkeepers in double game week, which is really annoying. But other than that, like it's a really good game week. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double game weekers, and you have your bench boost still to play, which is a lot. So I think this team really looks really nice. I'm not sure why Barnes is put in defense here, but we can just try to ignore that because it's still a very good looking team. Actually, I'm gonna take Rudiger out. Rudiger would probably be on the bench. Yeah, not sure why Barnes is in defense here, but this team I think would be very good for anybody who's looking to wild card this week and then bench boost. I personally would try to save the wild card until game week 34 if I could, if I was in this position, just because I think that wild carding now is quite a far away from game week 36, and you can dead end your team into game week 33 by grabbing Burnley players. Now you could double up on Burnley, you could double up on Everton if you wanted to. Like you could take some hits, take some risks with some players who have doubles. This game week in 31, and then also take some risks in game week 33, and then get those deadwood players out of your squad. So that's what I personally would do. But I think that this team, if you were planning on wildcarding this week and then bench boosting 36, would be the most optimal team to use it. So this team goes a little bit over my budget, unfortunately. This team is worth 104.7. If you need to downgrade, you can always downgrade Cash, or you could downgrade one of the Chelsea players to one of the Arsenal defenders. You can double up there. I just thought Chelsea would be a really good team to focus on, especially considering they have doubles in 36 and 37, and they have fantastic fixtures up to that point. If you're going to be free hitting, we can basically entirely ignore what's going to happen in game week 33 and focus all of our attention on game week 37, or 36, sorry. And we don't have any bench boost left, so we don't have to worry about that. So we can have dead wood players. Foster, for example, take your money out of your backup goalkeeper. You don't need it because you're not going to bench boost. Same with Gordon. I think Gordon's a great player. Just throw him on the bench. Forget about him afterwards. Broya, another enabler that I think is okay to put on the bench. And then you could play 4-4-2. You could play 4-5-1. You could play 5-4-1. You could play lots of different variations of this because you have lots of quality players for a relatively cheap price. As we can see, game week 33, not looking amazing. But when we look to game week 36, doubles, 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 and doubles. And I'm pretty sure even I think Cash doubles as well. I do not think Southampton double, and I do not think Everton double. So this is a pretty good team. You don't have lots of benching headaches to worry about. You might have to think about what you're going to do with Cash instead of one of the other players, but other than that, your team is looking pretty good. You'd probably play Cash over probably Kulusevski because he's playing Arsenal and Liverpool away. But yeah, overall, I think this team looks very strong for a free hit and a wild card. Again, I personally would potentially try to save my wild card until after game week 34 and really attack those game week 36 fixtures, just because I think that personally you're going to have trouble getting players in for 36 in case there's injuries. And you can probably attack the game week 31 fixtures a lot harder this week. So with just regular transfers. And last but certainly not least, the final team for this draft video is looking at if you have a wild card a bench boost, and a free hit. So if you have all three of these things, I'm going to say that you're going to want a bench boost in Game Week 36, and you're going to want a free hit in Game Week 33. I would probably recommend even holding the wild card until Game Week 34. I mean, Game Week 33 you could, or Game Week 31 you could attack with the wild card, but I just don't think there's a lot to attack here. And you want to have lots of players who double in Game Week 36. So like I've shown before, Game Week 33, you're going to have a team that looks relatively decent, but you're going to free hit anyways, so you don't have to worry about this at all. You can completely ignore it. Game Week 34, you have some. I think you're going to have some doublers with Leicester players. You're going to double with Watford, I think, in Game Week 36 or 35. My apologies. So you'll be able to play King then and Foster. And then this team here for Game Week 36, every single player on the starting pitch will be doubling. I think every single player on the bench will be doubling. They all are starters, and the only player that you might worry about is King against Crystal Palace away. But other than that, you are going to have a great time, actually in Foster away as well. But other than that, that is the team that I would recommend for Game Week 36. And this is the team I'd recommend if you had only a wild card, free hit, and bench boost. I say only like it's not very much. There's lots there. I hope these drafts help anybody out when they're struggling to figure out what they want to do for their wild card. Maybe see some players they didn't really think about, like King, for example. I was not somebody I was thinking about at all. Barnes is somebody that I think is very obvious, but is, could go on your radar. And Cancelo, we should not forget about Man City. They are still one of the best teams in the league, and they are now fighting for the title with Liverpool because it's a lot closer than we all thought at the beginning. So a lot of players that might go under the radar that I think are definitely people we need to consider. Yeah, I hope everyone liked the video. Please let me know if you have any comments or concerns, what I should change about the teams, what you guys are planning on doing with your own teams. Please feel free to comment and subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and have a good one. Cheers, everybody.